Did Universal just confirm what those photo validation pillars are for? Last week, a visitor to Epic Universe noticed that Universal had set up some photo validation hardware in the Dark Universe portal. People started wondering why Universal would need to start monitoring who would come into and out of portals, especially at a moment in time when this didn't seem to need monitoring. This led many to speculate that Universal would be implementing an open hub model to Epic Universe, a theory that has been floating around since even before the park opened. During previews last year, people noticed that each portal, as well as the attractions in Celestial Park, all had covered in-ground spots where some sort of barrier could be put in place at a later date. This fueled the speculation that Celestial Park could be an open hub, with access to the attractions and portals being a separately ticketed item. If you want to know my thoughts on this, I'll put a link below to the video that I made a couple days ago. Anyways, Universal might have slyly revealed what exactly they're doing with these photo validation pillars. On their website under the photo validation page, Universal added a section mentioning effortless entry to your favorite Epic Universe worlds. It reads, "There's nothing like stepping into the worlds of Universal Epic Universe. To keep your passage easy, you can use photo validation for effortless entry whenever virtual line return times are being used." Okay, this is interesting. They mentioned needing photo validation to enter portals whenever virtual lines are being used, which has been never up until this point in time. Since Epic Preview started last April, never once has there been a virtual queue to enter a portal. Guests have had the freedom to enter and leave every portal at their leisure, and it has been great. Even on the busiest days at Epic, there still hasn't been a need for virtual queues to enter certain portals. So where would Universal be getting this idea that they're going to have such an influx of people coming into the park, so much that limited entry to portals is deemed necessary? Well, some people seem to think that Universal is gearing up to include Epic Universe into annual passes. If this is true, then there would be much larger park attendance on the regular. And on extremely busy days, this is where these virtual queues could come into play, so that certain areas don't get overcrowded and overwhelmed. If I were an Orlando local annual pass holder, I would be ecstatic at this news. But as a Canadian, I can tell you that I absolutely hate this idea. As someone who only gets to visit Epic Universe once, maybe twice a year, I want to have the freedom to experience the whole park as I please during my visit there. If I only get to experience these wonderful portals once per trip, I want to be able to experience these portals when I want and as many times as I want to. On my first visit to Epic, I wanted to see every world in the day and in the night. I wanted to hop from one portal to the next and get to see each one in its beauty once the sun goes down. Imagine if virtual lines were in place and I, who only gets to visit like once a year, can only virtual queue into one land to see one place at night. The other portals? Well, maybe next year, sucks for you. Local annual pass holders will get to visit the park as much as they want. So the virtual line system is much less of a hassle for them and works much more in their favor. But us out of state and out of country guests, we get the short end of the stick by having our experience limited just so Universal can make more money on food and beverage sales. Now, I know I'm complaining a lot about this, and I think I'm justified in that. But if I'm being realistic, how often will this park hit capacity with annual pass holders so much that they need to implement virtual lines? Honestly, probably not that often. Obviously, right when they open it up, the park will go crazy with pent-up demand from annual pass holders. But after all that dies down, when will they need this? Summers? Yeah, I could see that. Christmas time? Yeah, probably then too. But hopefully that's about it. Hopefully during the regular times, even with annual pass holders, the capacity to the lands, rides, and restaurants won't hit such a capacity that they will need virtual queues to enter certain areas. And especially after they expand the park a little, once that Potter edition and maybe one more attraction gets added, the crowding will sort itself out and the park can operate as a normal park, keeping guest satisfaction at a maximum for both APs and regular guests. If Universal is looking to go this route by adding virtual lines so that they can introduce annual pass holders to Epic Universe, I kinda hope they combine it with what we were thinking they could do for that open hub concept. It would be cool if they could put a time limit on when annual pass holders could enter the park, thus limiting the time they would need to use this photo validation and virtual lines. If they allowed annual pass holders to enter at say like 4 p.m. or 6 p.m., it could allow the regular day guests to maximize their day, as well as allowing annual pass holders to take advantage of the dinner and evening hours in the parks. Though I'd rather no virtual lines in general, I think this would be a good compromise at least. This new virtual line system is obviously in the best interest for Universal and will lead to increased sales in food, beverages, merch. but I can guarantee that the regular ticketed guests will have a much lower guest satisfaction. Is this worth it to Universal? We'll see. But now I ask you, what do you think? Do you care if Epic Universe is going to start using virtual lines to get into the portals? Do you think this is a good idea, or do you think Universal is just creating a stupid system to make a quick buck? Am I out to lunch in my criticism? Let me know in the comments. I want to know your thoughts. Thanks for tuning in to discuss with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you want more theme park content from Disney, Universal, Epic Universe, please consider subscribing. You can also follow me at Canuck Park Hopper on Instagram for more theme park fun. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.